Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, another week, another UFC fight night, and this time, we're cooking. This month is absolutely cooking with all the UFC main events. Now, not off to a great start with the last card being 316, Sean O'Malley kind of getting fraud checked, it sucks to suck, but let me tell you, alright, we're moving on to the next fight night this weekend, which is Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley, alright? And I'm here to give you my prediction for every single fight based on my experience as a MMA fan. For the past 3 years, I've watched every single fight card top to bottom. Yes, even the ones in China. Therefore, I've stayed up to 6 a.m. So I understand what it's like for you European watchers out there. So, without further ado, let's get into the predictions here. Starting off the card, we have, and this is, let me take the goggles off for a second, be transparent with the community. I do this shit blind, alright? I see the names, I make the video, I get my picks in, then I watch everybody else's picks and predictions. I like going based off of what I remember, because I'm an MMA fan, alright? This is purely passion, alright? I don't normally put money on this fight, unless there's 50 bones on Sean O'Malley. I could get it out of that motherfucker, but it is what it is, alright? So we move on. Vanessa Dunopoulos versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Let me just adjust that. Fucking women's fight, man. Jesus Christ. Starting off with a shit break, by the looks of it. So if you don't know, I do this tried and true method. Some people, like We Want Picks, they use the pick doctor. Others use reasoning, like the MMA gurus, like the bedtime MMAs. Some of them, they just use reasoning. I, myself, use the tried and true method of flipping a coin. Alright, so right there, we're going to flip a coin here for the people, so everyone can see what the coin has chosen. Coin went 1-1 on the last card. But anyone with an eyeball could have told you Kayla Harrison was winning that fight. Unfortunately, the coin didn't. Now, with that being said, heads is the left. Heads is the woman on the left. Tails is the woman on the right. Alright, so let's get this done. I said tails on right, heads on left. Tails on right. Fuck. Shit. Is she a dog? We don't have odds for the fight, apparently. Okay, people are picking her there for the coin. The coin is cooking, let me tell you, alright? Both women coming off losses, but let me tell you, Jamie Lynn Horth, she's Canadian. What can I say about Canadian women fighters, alright? We have Amanda Nunes, the GOAT. That's kind of it, really. I don't even know what they're fighting at, because here it's showing we have an atomweight versus a fucking flyweight, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know if Vanessa's moving up. She might be moving up. 11-7 looks like shit anyways. At least Jamie Lynn Horth can spread the Canadian name. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, our best fighters may be women. And that's about where it ends, alright? So we're going to go with Jamie Lynn Horth via 29-28 vintage women decision, okay? Where it could be a robbery, but nobody fucking cares because it's the women division. Moving on. Phil Rowe versus Ange Loser, alright? Ange the quitter. Ange got fucked up by Brian Battle. Hey, he will be welterweight champion one day, just saying. But Ange Loser is really good. Phil Rowe's also pretty good. We haven't seen Phil Rowe in a while, huh? Yeah, his last loss was to Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews is people forget, man. Jake Matthews, he's a pretty decent striker, And then the Neil Magny, yeah, he got fraud checked there pretty badly. Even though it was a split, I felt like it was pretty clear Magny, but, knocks out Nico Price. Not a bad win, to be honest with you. How's that one? Yeah. I want, Phil Rowe, when you see him in interviews, and when you see him in the fight build-ups, and when you see him, chatting, right, he seems like a good dude, right? He seems like he wants to be something. He seems like he's got the personality. He seems like a good, chill dude. Now, unfortunately, Angelusa is good, you know? He's coming off a loss against Gabriel Bonfim. I mean, Bonfim's kind of, I think, back on a heater, if I'm not mistaken. Bonfim's pretty good. Yeah, that where the eye poke situation where Angelusa literally quit after Brian Battle was whooping Angelusa's ass, and that doesn't normally happen. Angelusa had a pretty okay performance against Gabriel Bonfim. It's not like Angelusa sucks, you know, after that type of performance. It's not like his soul was taken away or anything. Reese McKee, that one's actually aged pretty good. Reese McKee's back in the win column, and Reese McKee's pretty good. Phil Rowe is good. A lot of people, I'm going to guess, are going to talk about Phil Rowe's jab, because Phil Rowe is kind of like known for having a really good jab. The problem with Philip Rowe is that he doesn't, it looks like he never really has a game plan. He just goes in there and he does his best, kind of like a Steve Urseg, you know, where they're a little chinny, but they are technically good, but they're just not doing enough. And that's kind of what we're learning with Philip Rowe here, all right? I want to pick Philip Rowe. I think I'm just going to pick Angelusa, you know? I get he's coming off, like, being bitched by Brian Battle and then also losing to a Bonfim, but Angelusa is good. You know, he is technically good. He's still kind of young, to be fair. You know, he's a big fucking welter. Like, he's a thick dude, all right? He's kind of like a slightly taller, less denser Joaquin Buckley, you know? So, he's not a bad dude. Philip Rowe, he's big, but, like, it doesn't, you know... I want you to beat Neil Magny before he's getting fucked up by everyone else, you know? And I know it was close, but, like, it wasn't close enough, you know? That's my problem with Philip Rowe. So I'm gonna go with Angelusa. He does hit hard. I don't think I'd go KO. I'd probably go decision. This might be a bit of a stinker, you know? Vintage UFC Fight Night starters, alright? Yeah, you know, Killcliff is good fucking gym. You know, there's no odds for these fights, eh? Holy shit. What are we doing, betting organizations? Alright? I want to see if I'm fucking right or wrong. What are people picking? A lot of people are on Angelusa. Makes sense. I get why. Angelusa, I do think, is, like, a really good fighter. Angelusa is kind of like if you took Joaquin Buckley, you take away some of that fighter's aggression and give him the Joe Pyfer mentality. Kind of what it's there, you know? You got to make Angelusa quit or make him think a little too much. Like, what was that loss a while ago? Yeah, he just got bitched. Yeah, you got to, like, make Angelusa quit. Philip Rowe, as a striker, he doesn't initiate the striking well, you know? You gotta, like, bring something to someone. Philip Rowe's kind of like a better Leon Edwards. As sad as that. A better boxing Leon Edwards that wants to initiate the boxing a little bit better. I don't think he's better than Leon Edwards. I take that back. But, you know, just... He waits for his opponent to do something, and he's the type of dude to get hit 3 times, hit back once, and wonder why, guys, why am I losing these rounds? You know, corner, what am I supposed to do? You know, so I'm going to go with Angelusa. I'm going to be rooting for Philip Rowe because, you know, fuck Angelusa for being a bitch and quitting via that little eye poke. Hey, what can you do, man? Man, fuck you, man. But, yeah, I'm going to be rooting for Philip Rowe. Moving on, we have Ricky Simon versus Charles Jourdain. Hey, Charles Air Jourdain. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Hey, the pride of Canada. All right, the best Canadian fighter on the roster. I don't give a fuck about Eamon Zahabi. I don't give a fuck about Mike Mallet, that fucking can. You know, more American than Canadian. All right, you guys can have him. Okay, over here in Canada, we don't want him. All right, so you know, because he lives, I think he's trained primarily in America, so you guys can keep Mike Malott, you Americans. All right. We'll keep Charles Jourdain, all right? Hey, he might live and die by the sword, but that's what we kind of need over here in Canada. You know, base as fuck on the Twitter. He's gotten a little spicy at times, okay? Saying a few slurs, okay, during Pride Month, okay? I respect it. You know, I'm not saying I agree with it. I respect it, though, you know? You know? Not saying I disagree with it, but Charles Air Jourdain is really fucking good. Ricky Simon... bit, you know, he's jumping back in the win column, okay? He just beat Javid Basharat. Javid Basharat, a little bit of a frail bantamweight, all right? Let's just be honest. Did get fraud checked by the Canadian Amin Zahabi. Fuck. I did think Amin Zahabi did, like, beat Javid. Javid's also, he's become this guy who's got, like, a big ego when he fights. And Ricky Simone found that right hand down the pipe, fucking smoked Javid. That was a sick KO by Ricky Simone. But Ricky Simone, people forget, man, Ricky Simone is kind of a little bit of a quitter. I know his Mario Bautista win is kind of aging better now that Mario just whooped the fucking shit out of Patchy Mix, who, you know, all these guys are saying, you know, next contender. Oh, this guy, you know, how many fights until he gets the belt, you know? Really, MMA YouTubers, that's what we're doing nowadays, okay? I went Mario Bautista, obviously, like the true Chads, but I don't think Ricky Simone is, like, ranked material. Charles Jourdain is at least ranked material. Bro, his losses are really good. I know I shouldn't be basing a fighter off his losses, but you have to be either really, really good or kind of dog shit in order to beat Charles Jourdain. I think Ricky Simone is like a middle, where he's got not the greatest IQ, and he's got like kind of like a Drew Dober way of fighting, where he's like a little bit of wrestling, but sometimes it's not the best IQ moves, a little bit of striking that's good, but he's kind of getting away with just being a little tough and having a little bit more power than his opponents. Charles Jourdain hits fucking hard, and he fights genetic freaks, you know? His loss, Sean Woodson split decision. That fight is aged like fucking fine wine. Sean Woodson, the xenomorph himself, should be fucking ranked right now. In my opinion, he was up 2-0 against Dan Ige personally before they bullshit stopped that fight when Sean Woodson literally just went for a takedown, abandoned it, and they just stopped the fight. It was one of the most bullshit fucking stoppages of all time. But that Xenomorph loss has aged like fine wine. You just can't beat Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson's 6'5", all right? At, what is this? Is this going to be at feather? No, it's going to be at bantamweight. True. Hey, all right? But, you know, Charles Jourdain needs to stay at bantamweight. That's what I was going to say. But, still fucking young as shit, too. 29 years old. I get it. His record is kind of ugly. 16-8. A little bit Jalen Turner-esque. Okay? Clean it up, Jourdain. All right? But, Sean Woodson, Gene Silva. Those are his two last losses. One of them might fight for the belt. And the other one is looking pretty fucking good. All right? He's looking ranked material at bantamweight, at least. Now, wait, I do think Sean Woodson, did he move up to featherweight? I can't remember. Regardless, his losses are really good, and he's beating the people he's supposed to beat. Kron Gracie is a fucking bum, alright? No striking whatsoever. His grappling's pretty okay, but no striking whatsoever. Ricardo Ramos whooped his ass via submission. Victor Henry whooped his ass. So, I do think you have to be really, really good, or like a genetic freak, to beat Charles Jourdain. Ricky Simone isn't either. He does, like, he can win this. Like, he can knock out Charles Jourdain. But Charles Jourdain's gilly is really fucking good. If you see this guy grapple, his grappling's insane, right? And I know pulling gillies, like, for pussies, because, like, if you tap to a gilly, you're a pussy. But Charles Jourdain's pretty good with the gilly, you know? He's not as good as someone like Julian Erosa in terms of grappling, but he's close to that. You know, he's like a step below Julian Erosa. It's just his toughness will really fuck him in his fights. Sometimes he's just a little too hittable. And it's when he goes in and he's just sitting there, like, he's defending and it's on the guard, but he is just getting hit. So he might be a victim to, like, getting a round taken away from him. However, you know, both of these losses are pretty good in hindsight. I'm going Charles Jourdain. I just think Ricky Simone is like, Ricky Simone will get a win, don't get me wrong, but Ricky Simone is sort of falling off, you know? Charles Jourdain's a younger fighter. He's more battle tested for sure. I'm gonna go actually Gilly, and I'm gonna say he gets a Gilly in round 2. Maybe even round 1. Maybe round 3. Honestly, I think he gets a gilly at any point. I think Ricky's gonna get whooped on the feet, He'll probably wobble Charles Jourdain here and there, but Ricky's the type of dude to, like, wobble someone and shoot a takedown. I think he's going to do that, and Charles Jourdain's going to latch up something, you know? So, I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain via sub. I'm going to go round 2. Could happen in any round, to be fair. Charles Jourdain's really fucking good. Arguably the best Canadian fighter, okay? Alright? I don't want to see Mike Malotz. I don't want to see these fucking Amin Zahabis. I want to see Charles Jourdain. I know he's French-Canadian, okay? I get that part. But, we claim him. Okay? We claim him. Yeah, he's a sick fighter. Bro, he's bigger than it. Like, I really like that, you know? Charles Jourdain is rarely ever, like, physically imposing on his opponent. He was one of those weird featherweight fighters that was like too small for featherweight, so he definitely had to get down back to bantamweight. Bro, when this guy's locked, he's locked. I just need I'm just hoping he's locked. You know what I mean? Because he can have a sneaky performance. Both of these fighters kind of have the same problem, where they, sometimes their IQ is just not great and they just look like a bum out there. But I do think Charles Jourdain, I'm trusting him to win this, alright? I gotta move on, bro. Holy fuck, this is gonna be a long prediction. Moving on. Cody Durden, Jose Ochoa. Oka? He lost his debut against Loner Kavanagh. Loner Kavanagh looked good in that fight, to be fair, but he made it competitive, to be fair. Cody Durden's fucking good, though. You know? What was his loss? I want to say Damon Blackshear, but that feels so wrong. Joshua Van, that's what it was. I'm mixing up Cody Durden with the guy fucking Damon Blackshear just fought, the old man. Not just fought, sorry, the fight before that. I can't remember his name, though. Was it like Cody something? Cody Gibson, maybe? I can't fucking remember. Regardless, that's not a bad loss. I mean, it's fucking Joshua Van at the end of the day. That guy might be champ by the end of this fucking year at this rate, alright? But, sub win on match, it's a good win, lost KO by Bruno Silva, that's not too bad. Tagir submission, that's not too bad. He beat Jake Hadley, Jose Ochoa's, like, really good. Cody Durden, 10-year age advantage, eh? I guess disadvantage. They're literally the exact same size. Shooto Box is a good team. American Top Team's pretty good, though. This one's a tough one. You know what? Jose looked good in that Loner Kavanagh. Like, he was landing well on Loner. But I don't think... Flyweight's a steep division. You gotta be good everywhere. Cody Durden is, like, good everywhere. Jose had, like, good striking moments, and he could finish Cody Durden. Damn, he's the favorite, too? Why the fuck is Jose the favorite? Like, I see what people are seeing. I do think Cody Durden is better, though. Like, if we're talking fighter to fighter, I do think Cody Durden's better. He is definitely a more veteran than this fucking Jose Okia guy. I gotta move on. I think I'm gonna go with Cody Durden here. I'm gonna go Cody Durden via decision. I think we're gonna see Cody Nurmagomedov Durden. He's a dog, man. He's a good guy, and he's a fucking dog. He'll go in there, he'll lay and pray, he'll slug it out. I'm a little worried Cody Durden here might get fucking caught, though. But I do think, all around wise, Cody Durden's better. Kind of everywhere. So I'm going to go with Cody Durden. I think he gets it done. This Jose guy, I don't know. Bro, that's such a big... I know Cody Durden's not ranked, but, like, his last loss was to Joshua Van, Like, these are ranked dudes, you know what I mean? Like, is Jose flyweight ranked level? I don't think so. Just gonna be honest, I don't think so. I do think Cody Durden is, like, he will lose to the guys who are just better than him. Like, if you're really good in one thing, you'll beat Cody Durden. If your grappling is, like, top tier, like 9 out of 10 top tier, I think you'll beat Cody Durden. If your striking is 9 out of 10 top tier, I think you'll beat Cody Durden. If your power is, like, 9 out of 10 Alex Pereira level, you know, I do think you'll beat Cody Durden. Don't think Jose Ochaka's that, you know? Especially at flyweight, I don't see it. Moving on. Probably a 30-27 Cody Durden, to be honest with you. I think Jose's going to have like 1 or 2 big moments, you know, maybe in the early rounds, and I think Cody Durden's just going to lay and pray in the third, but have pretty clear Cody Durden first and second rounds. Moving on, Malcolm Wellmaker versus Chris Moutinho. Chris Moutinho is the guy who got his ass whooped, absolutely beat down by O'Malley, okay? And Malcolm Wellmaker just retired Cameron Simon. It's sad to see our boy, our African child, Cameron Simon. It is what it is, you know. Sometimes you're a nail, sometimes you're a hammer, as they say. But Malcolm Wellmaker's power is insane. He flatlined Cameron Simon. Not even Peyton Talbot should do that, guys. Even though Peyton Talbot just got fraud checked by Honey Barcelos. But regardless of that, yeah, Wellmaker's power is insane. Chris Moutinho's been through a lot of, like, bloody fights. Not, like, great fights. But he gets his ass whooped, and he's very hittable. Cameron Wellmaker, I think, also quit his job. I think he was I'm not mistaken, right? This is the guy? Yeah, he smoked Cameron Simon. He quit his job so he can full-time MMA. I believe. Because I think he was a welder. Hey, shout out to the welders. That's what I studied for in college. That was a waste of fucking time. Yeah, I do think Wellmaker gets this done. What are the odds? No odds for the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Wellmaker's like a minus fucking 5 to 800 in this fight. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, this is his re-debut too. You know, 5-fight win streak against fucking no ones. Yeah. Damn, Malcolm Wellmaker's 31, eh? Holy shit. This guy's a fucking killer. Alright. I'm guessing this fight's at 135, but I do believe it's short notice, so it might actually be at 145. Regardless, I think Wellmaker's just better, you know? I do think from what we saw in that Cameron Simon fight, this guy can just smoke anyone. So I'm going to go with Wellmaker. I'm going to go with KO. To be honest with you, I'm going to go round 2. I think Chris is going to look okay in the first. And then we're going to see a moment where he gets hurt really, really bad. And then in the second, he gets flatlined. I do think Wellmaker might actually be the real deal. I fucking pray he's the real deal. We need some fucking livelihood. We need some fucking finishers in these lighter divisions that are, you know, building up. We need the Joshua Vans, even though he's coming off one of his first finishes. But we need, like, the Joshua Vans where they're entertaining strikers, you know? So I think Malcolm Wellmaker can definitely become that. The Machine is a weird nickname to take from Marab, but hey, I respect it. Moving on. It's a 135 fight, eh? That's interesting. Moving on. Michael Chiesa, Court McGee. I'm not going to think about this too much. I'm going Chiesa. Court McGee sucks. He's not bad. He's good all around. He's just old. It's like too late in his career for really anything. Coming off a win against the Dirty Bird. That saved his career, you know. He lost to Alex Morono, who's not even in the UFC anymore, I'm pretty sure. Matt Brown, also not even in the UFC anymore. I don't know where the fuck Jeremiah Wells is right now, and he might be in the UFC. Chiesa is also old, but he's slightly less shit. His striking is, like, not the greatest, so Court McGee can probably smother Chiesa, you know? Like, I can see Chiesa getting pieced, and then Court McGee just, like, you know, winging overhand rights. That's kind of how I see the fight going. But I think Chiesa's just going to get a takedown, sub-Court McGee. I think it's going to be easy. I'm going to go... It's going to look easy. I'm going to go round 1, to be honest with you. I think it'll be boring. It'll just be like, oh, he got the takedown, and he's in full mount now. Okay. He's fighting for the arm. Oh, and Court McGee's tapped. You know, I think that's what we're going to be seeing here. I don't think Michael Chiesa is that good. I just think Court McGee's that shit, you know? So, he's been KO'd a bunch too. Honestly, like a TKO is also like very viable in this. This could be very Andre Muniz, Paul Craig-esque, where you just see like a guy like Paul Craig, submission specialist, get a TKO sort of victory here. So I'm gonna go Chiesa. I'm not gonna think too much about this one. Moving on. Oh, speaking of Paul Craig, I will die for this. Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato, the rematch after Rodolfo pulled out because he had a little fucking tummy ache. He had a little fucking tummy ache. Paul Craig is gonna whoop Bellato. I'm keeping it. I'm feeling like he might get actually fucking KO'd now, but Paul Craig could get KO'd out of nowhere. His chin is pretty bad. But something a lot of people don't mention is that the guys he gets chinned to are really fucking good, okay? Like, he's getting chinned to Brent... Okay, no, that was a sub. Different. He's getting chinned by Kyle Brahalio. That guy might be fighting for a belt soon. You know, he's getting... He got rocked by Bo Nickel, and Bo Nickel is shit. In my opinion, I'll say it till the fucking prairie comes home, or whatever the fucking quote is. Paul Craig beat Bo Nickel round 1 and 2, and in the third he lost, clearly. That's it. That's my opinion. Bo Nickel did fuck all. Paul Craig outlanded him in, I think it was round 1, and he landed more damaging blows at round 2. Only one guy had a black eye after that fight, and it wasn't fucking Paul Craig, alright? That's all I'm saying. Paul Craig, I think, beat Bo Nickel. I do think he beats this matchup. His striking isn't that bad. The chin is the problem, but he almost embraces it, and that's something you gotta respect. I think he always knows his chin is bad, but he fights like he's a high-level... It's hard to explain, but he is really fucking good. Like, he'll go in there, and he'll fight like a normal fighter. Like, he'll go in, do his entries, you know, he'll exit out, you know, when he's on the back foot, you know, he's got his hand near his face, ready to guard, and he's kicking and everything like that. His hands are a little low, to be fair, and that might be why he gets chinned a bunch. Yeah, Johnny Walker chinned. Johnny Walker hits fucking hard, though, to be fair. I do think Bellato's one of the most overrated fighters in fucking UFC. A draw to Jimmy Crute is kind of fucking wild. His fight with Ior Pateria, the ground and pound, he was knocked out unconscious, and Ior was hammer fisting, and the ref didn't stop the fight. You could watch that fight back and see when he's unconscious, because his eyes are literally rolled back in his head, and the ref didn't stop the fight. Ior just gassed out, and the ref, I guess, was brain dead that night. So he got gifted that win, in my opinion. I didn't really see his Contender Series fight. Jimmy Crute fucking sucks. It's ass. And Jimmy Crute arguably won that fight. I know it was a draw, but Jimmy Crute arguably won that fight in a re-debut after he's retired. And home crowd advantage fucking Australia, too. Not good looks. Really not good looks. And then his 2 losses, I believe, are to Vitor Petrino. Vitor Petrino is trash. Enough said. You know? I can't wait to see We Want Picks, Angelo Bodie, fucking... You know, Rodolfo Bellato, you know, the guy who looks like me, his 2 losses are to the same guy. It's the same guy. You know, I can just already picture fucking Angelo breaking it down, but... Yeah, Bellato sucks. He could just chin Paul Craig out of nowhere. Skill for skill, Paul Craig is better everywhere. In the grappling, in the striking, everything. Jiu-jitsu, even honestly wrestling. Bellato sucks. He will shoot a takedown. If he doesn't KO Craig in the first minute, he will shoot a takedown. He will get guillotined. I'm calling it right now. So I'm going to go Paul Craig. I'm going to go sub. I think Paul Craig's also going to try to get in there and actually, like... either really damage Bellato, because Bellato's very finishable. He's not a chin master himself. Or he's going to go for a submission pretty fast. Maybe try to get a takedown. His takedowns are shit, Paul Craig's. But if Bellato initiates a takedown, he's probably going to get subbed via armbar, via guillotine. That's kind of like Paul Craig's shtick, you know? And as time's gone on, like, arm bars are a little bit more rare, but if anyone's going to get it, it's probably Paul Craig. You know? Great wins against fucking, Magomed Ankalaev and Jamal Hill, so his wins are better, his losses are better. Fuck this Rodolfo Bellato guy, I hope he gets choked out in round 1. Moving on, we have Alonzo Metafield versus Umar Sy. This is like, I mean, do I need to say more than this? Like, Alonzo Metafield sucked. He sucks. He's been chinned. He's coming off a win against Julius Walker. I think that was Julius's Walker debut. And Julius literally just gassed out. He had, like, nothing. I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly. And so did Menifield. Menifield gassed out, too, and couldn't finish the fucking fight. So I think, if I remember correctly, a lot of people are actually saying Julius Walker was winning that, or should have won that fight, but he didn't. But he didn't. Alright, excuse the voice crack. But yeah, Azamat Murzakanov, that's not a bad loss to have. Carlos Olberg is a bad loss in hindsight, because Olberg is really shit when it comes to, like, finishing his opponents. Fuck, man. He subbed Jimmy Crute? Really? I don't remember that. I remember the shit Jimmy Crute fight. I think that was a rematch as well. I mean, he's shorter. Umar Sy's a legit, like, fighter. He's not, like, the greatest of all time. Like, you know, Tuco Tacos. What a fucking guy. Alright, let me tell you. But Umar Sy, he's showcased he's pretty tough. There's hype around him because it's, like, the new France guy. Because Cirogan sucks ass. This guy's good, you know? Need I say less? Alonzo Metafield's chinny. He's old. He's fucking terrible. He's got some of the worst IQ in the sport. Umar Sy, he's like a light heavyweight Michael Morales, you know? He's good, he's a little bit, like, unproven, we gotta kind of see what level he is still, but he's kind of good everywhere. I haven't really seen a big gaping hole that Alonzo Metafield, like, if I'm Alonzo, I don't see a game plan, and I know Alonzo's already dumber than a bag of bricks, so I don't know what his game plan's gonna be. It's possible Umar Sy gasses out, it's possible Alonzo gets, like, a decision here. But Alonzo does suck, so I'm going Umar Sy. Moving on, Cody Bumdidge versus Mansour Abdul Malik. Is this the guy I'm thinking of? I don't remember. Nick Klein. Don't remember that. Dusko Tudor. Okay, that's the one I remember. Dusko Tudorovic. Short notice. Dusko, you know, it was a rough matchup for Dusko, okay? A lot of people talk about Mansour as, like, this really good finisher. He is good, but he is also very inexperienced. You can kind of see it the way he fights. Dusko was trying to go for, like, a heel hook after he got dropped. Dusko doesn't really have a great chin. I'm not going to sit here and be like, Cody Bumdidge is, like, that good. He really isn't. Who did he just beat? He just beat Julian Marquez. Like, who the fuck? I don't think Abdul Malik is that good. I do think he gets past Cody Bumdidge, though. Cody Bumdidge sucks. He does suck. He's a quitter. You know, the no contest, was that Abdul whatever the fuck? Yeah, Abdul Razak Al Hassan. That was kind of a bullshit fight, to be honest with you. I get it. Bumdidge, you know, he was getting back of the head. Zach Reese KO is nice because of the slam. But is it aging poorly now? I guess because Zach Reese really showcased he's not that good anyways. There's no, like, good win on Cody Bumdidge. I haven't seen anything. Like, he's not a bad wrestler, I guess. Like, he could come in and just, like, lay on Mansour Abdul Malik. Or, like, out-grapple the fuck out of him. Like, Cody Bumdidge isn't, like, super chinny either. I'm gonna go Abdul via 29-28 decision. You know, Cody Bumdidge, I think, will probably win the first. And get smoked afterwards. Because Cody Bumdidge also has a pretty big gas tank problem. You know, he has a tough time making it to decision. So I'm gonna go with Abdul Malik. Moving on, we have Cody Garbrandt versus Hani Barcelos. Cody Garbrandt, it's risky, I know, he doesn't have a great chin, he could. The way people talk about Paul Craig's chin is Cody Garbrandt's chin. Cody Garbrandt's chin is terrible. You could actually breathe in the wrong direction and he falls asleep, okay? Cody Garbrandt has 0 chin, okay? His chin HP is constantly on 1, alright? So, he is actually one of the chinniest fighters of all time. He could get slept by a jab. I know Honey Barcelos is like, what, 37, 38, something like that. 38 years old. Just fraud check Peyton Talbot. Good win. You know, Christian Quinones, also a good win. Honey Barcelos is like he's like the mini Edson Barbosa. And I mean that in almost every way. Like, his IQ is slightly worse than Edson Barbosa on, like, his off nights. Edson will have off nights where he's just, like, he eats shit. Ronnie Barcelos will have off nights where he just eats shit. You know, it happens in the sport, but it literally seems like, you know, oh, 2-fight winning streak? Okay, now you lose. Okay, you just got on a win column? Okay, now you lose. You know what I mean? Like, they're very 50-50. You know, he fights a lot like Edson Barbosa in, like, the sort of Muay Thai bobbin head stance. Cody's boxing, though, is insane. Like, Cody No Love, his boxing is insane. If you do box with him, you will get fucking smoked. Honey Barcelos, I don't think understands that. I do think Honey Barcelos probably gets chinned. Cody Garbrandt also, you know, he has a decent level of power. He'll probably call out some big name again. He won't get it because he got fraud checked by, Davison Figueiredo, up a weight class, and Davison Figueiredo basically gave him the opportunity, and then Cody gets fucking subbed. I don't think he's gonna get subbed. I do think his takedown defense isn't that great, but his submission defense is normally better than what happened with Davison Figueiredo. It looked like he just quit. Like, Davison got the back and just went for the choke instantly. Cody Garbrandt tapped instantly, you know? So, he tapped like chicken, blah, blah. But Cody Garbrandt is really, really good. And overall, I do think this is a little bit of a style mismatch. I get why he's the underdog. Cody Garbrandt, you kind of have to make him the underdog in every fight because he could just get chinned out of nowhere. But, yeah, Brian Kelleher... Like, Brian Kelleher, I think, is better than Honey Barcelos. Consistently. You know? So, if you smoking a guy like Brian Kelleher, Trevin Jones isn't too bad either. You know? Damn, he lost to Kai Kara France. I know that was, you know, flyweight and he's drained and everything. I think Cody, this might be vintage Cody Garbrandt here. I think he'll probably whoop Honey Barcelos. To be honest with you, I think he gets a round 1 KO. You know, I think he smokes him. Honey Barcelos has that Edson style, but he's also much more hittable. Like, he'll stand in front of you, and he will just eat, like, an overhand right. He will just eat, like, leg kicks. He doesn't respond well when someone is in his face, you know? Even though Honey will kind of push a pace, you know? So, you know, his Umar loss isn't that bad in hindsight. Kyler Phillips lost his H poorly. Like, I think Cody Garbrandt could be Kyler Phillips. So, I'm going to go with Cody Garbrandt by KO in round 1. I think skill for skill, Cody Garbrandt's better everywhere. And, you know, Honey Barcelos has 2 wins now. He's coming off, you know, one of the better wins in his career because Peyton Talbot was an unbeaten prospect and people are like, oh, next champ, next O'Malley, whatever. He fraud checked the fuck out of Peyton Talbot. Like, he whooped his ass for 3 rounds. So... yeah, I'm going to go with Cody Garbrandt. Moving on, Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Petroski. Edmund Shabazian, going back on his run, you know? Edmund, is this the guy I'm thinking of? Yeah, he's 27, but he's been around for a fucking while, right? If I'm not mistaken, this guy's been around forever. Edmund Shabazian. This guy's been in the UFC far longer than I've been watching. You know, and he's kind of like evolved, like he's learned inside the UFC. So it's kind of interesting to see. Andre Petroski is shit. He's not that good. Josh Frem, Dylan Budka, like, not really, you know. Like, MMA math-wise, you could just take these two and be like, well, Edmund Shabazian fucking smoked Dylan Budka. You know, the guy who said he's a fucking elite grappler and, you know, he's training this and that, only to lose to Cesar Almeida, a guy who never grappled before a day in his life. But, yeah, Dylan Budka fucking sucks. Rodolfo Vieira, also not that great. Yeah, not great wins. You know, Edmund Shabazian, I do think he's bottom tier ranked level, like top 15, maybe at middleweight. Middleweights are shit. You know, like, yeah, like middleweights are terrible. But I do think Edmund Shabazian, honestly, Edmund Shabazian could probably win this fight and then call out Bo Nickel. I'm picking Edmund Shabazian. He is good. He's kind of like a little bit. He is well rounded. He's good everywhere, and it seems like he's finally getting some power. He looks a lot bigger than the last couple performances as well. Sometimes he will have low IQ moments, but like his losses also aren't that bad. Anthony Hernandez is going on to do some great things in middleweight, and Gerald Meerschaert, you know, people forget, man, GM3. But yeah, I'm going with Edmund Shabazian. You know, he'll challenge someone anywhere, and I don't think Petrosky's good anywhere. Like, well, okay, not good anywhere. I just don't think he's like, I don't think he's got a good chin. I don't think his grappling's all that great. I think his wrestling offense is like okay. I don't think it's that crazy. Edmund's gonna have a reach advantage. Edmund's gonna have a height advantage. Edmund's the younger fighter. Edmund's been doing this shit longer. Like, he's got all the green flags here. So I'm going to Edmund Shabazian. Honestly, I reckon he gets a KO. Petrosky, is this the fight I'm thinking of? Where ground strikes after hard collision. That's the fight where he shot a takedown and he got knocked out from his own takedown shot. Like, I can't pick this guy to win a fight. I've probably gone against him in every one of these fights, and I'm going against him again. Fuck Andre Petrosky. This guy's shit. He does kind of also get gifted performances, you know? It seems like when he fights his opponents are low IQ. Edmund's just good everywhere. You know, he's not great everywhere. He's good everywhere. Petrosky, his chin sucks. His wrestling's okay. Like, everything's, like, passable. And then the other things are really shit, you know? So, I can't really pick Andre Petrosky. I'm going with Edmund Shabazian. The Ginger is going to get it done via KO. You know what? I'm going to say late in the third, actually. I think Petrosky does have pretty good first rounds, other than the time he fucking knocked himself out. I don't remember if it was round 1 or what round that was, but I'm gonna say Edmund picks up a late round KO. He could get a submission, to be fair. Edmund's really good, like, everywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Edmund Shabazian. Moving on, we have Rose Namajunas in the co-main event against Miranda Maverick. Heads is a lady on the left, tails is the women on the right. We have tails. Tails on the right. Miranda Maverick wins via Rose Namajunas having no IQ. 29-28. Does everyone agree with me here? Wow. Okay, never mind. Oh, shit. Hey, I mean, decision win on Jamie Lynn Horth, guys. You know, Jamie Lynn Horth. People forget, man. She's fighting on the early prelims. Yeah, I don't care. It's a women's fight. Moving on. Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Alright, this is a fight I've been waiting for. I have a buddy of mine who's on the other side, okay? And listen, this is a fight where I get why people are picking the other side, okay? I get why you might be picking the other side, but I'm going with Joaquin Buckley, KO in the fourth. I have said it, therefore it's going to happen, okay? Buckley's really fucking good. Really good everywhere. His wrestling is good. Welterweight, he's found a home. He's unbeaten in welterweight. He's fucking good, man. I do think now he is being, like, slightly overrated. A lot of people are saying he's the next welterweight champ. I don't know if he beats Jack Della Maddalena, because JDM's got good submissions. Like, he can threaten submissions really well. And then he's also got, like, the hands, obviously. But Joaquin Buckley, what Buckley does really well, like, he whooped Colby Covington far better than Kamaru Usman ever did, alright? And that's a fact, alright? But the thing with Buckley, I know he's getting outstricked by Wonderboy, but, like, Wonderboy is one of the best strikers still, alright? Even if he's fucking 45 years old. But he did KO Wonderboy, and that's kind of, like, what it is here, you know? I like the fact, this is what I really like about, Buckley's record here. So, Morono, he whooped his ass for 3 rounds. I know it like looks weak because Moreno sucks, but Vicente Luque, not great. But his 3-fight win streaks, Ruziboev, he outgrappled a OED, you know, an OV, if you will, you know, MMA fans know. Ruziboev is actually like really, really good. I do like, I think I rate Ruziboev like adequately. Some people rate him too high, like, oh, he's gonna be like a middleweight top 5. I think he'll cap out at like top 15. Ruziboev is really good. He was really drained for that fight. But Buckley showcased he's got good wrestling in this fight, you know? And it wasn't just because his opponent was drained. Like, he was getting good positions. He was getting great blast doubles. He had good takedowns in this fight. And showcased he will Nurmagomedov his way to a decision. All right? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he was getting pieced up for the first 2 rounds. I legit had Wonderboy winning the first 2. And then he got slept in the third. Now, Joaquin Buckley showcased, even if he's losing, he's not going to fucking quit. He'll still go in there, and he'll still hunt for a KO. Now, it could have been the confidence of watching the Wonderboy videos and knowing what Wonderboy does and knowing that he's getting close to the strike. But he did smoke, like he flatlined Wonderboy. Nobody does that. Nobody does that to this guy, you know? He did it in an impressive fashion, even though he was losing, in my personal opinion. But that showcase, even if Usman is up 4 rounds, Buckley's going to be live in the 5th. You know what I mean? Showcased a really good chin, too. I know Wonderboy isn't, like, the greatest chin tester, alright? But Wonderboy, he was piecing up Joaquin Buckley in that fight. Like, there was moments where it's just like, how the fuck is Buckley standing? In my personal opinion. But we move on to the Colby Covington fight. He beat the living breaks off Colby Covington. Now, if you want to say Colby is past his prime and washed compared to the Usman fights, hey, fair enough, right? But he did beat the living shit out of Colby Covington, and that needs to be mentioned. Because if you're going to stand there and provide no threat, Buckley will whoop your ass, all right? And that's kind of why I'm so high on Joaquin Buckley. Buckley, even if he's losing this fight against Usman, because I don't mind Usman winning a decision here, okay? Usman's got a lot of 5-round experience. Usman has been in there with the top level for the past, like, decade, right? This guy's fucking good, right? Don't get me wrong, but he is aged, and he's kind of aged like milk, all right? I get it. He arguably beat Khamzat Chimaev at middleweight, okay? So I'm not really counting that because it's a middleweight win, guys, all right? But it was short notice. I get it. It was a lot of respect. It was a savage thing to do. But, like, that's something where Usman can, like, wear on his chest, and if he loses this fight and retires, he can say, like, oh, I arguably beat Khamzat Chimaev. Oh, you know, I'm arguably one of the best welterweights of all time if you ask Kenny O'Fucking-Koye, which nobody cares about his opinion. Or nobody believes his opinions on these stupid fucking biased picks for GOATs. But, because GSP's obviously there. But Buckley has showcased you can't break him mentally. Like, there is no breaking him. He's not gonna be on bottom and be like, oh, fuck, I'm cooked, you know, because I'm too tired and blah, blah, blah. He does cut a lot of weight and everything. He looks filled in, right? This might be the first time we see him go into those championship rounds in round 3, in round 5, or in round 4, in round 5. I don't think Kamaru Usman is really expecting Buckley to be this good. Usman, to me, is a guy who doesn't look at these sort of lesser-known dudes and okay, what the fuck is these numbers? Number 54? What the fuck is that? And then okay, weird. Anyways, I just noticed that. But Usman, to me, strikes me as a guy who's not going to research a lot of these, like, lesser-known dudes. Buckley isn't a big name, and while some people are claiming that he might be the next belt holder and everything, I don't really know if he beats JDM right now. Like, I don't really know if I'd pick him in that fight. I'm very confident he beats Usman. Usman's aged. He's like 38 years old is crazy, you know, in the top level. His knees are dust at this point. We've all heard the stories. He walks up the stairs backwards. You know, he does certain training exercises specifically for his knees because they're so bad. You know, probably from the PEDs, all right? It's a symptom, but, no, Usman is good. He could, like, wear on Joaquin Buckley. He could sort of bait out, like, oh, ref, I got nutshotted, ref, you know, call timeouts when he needs it. kind of like Colby was trying to do. But Buckley is a great showcase of the new era of fighters, and Usman's a great showcase of the old era of fighters, and I think it's just a changing of the guard, you know? Because Buckley, his entries are so fucking good. Whether it's takedowns or his striking, his entries are insane. You know, you have guys like JDM, and you have guys like DDP that will run in like Robert Whittaker. They'll run in, bop, 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 and they'll get out, you know? Like Max Holloway. Then you'll have guys like Buckley who, when they go in, they ain't going out. You know what I mean? They'll go in with an intent to fucking kill. Alright? So they'll go in, they'll swing with everything they got with the good angles, you know? Hit him with the Tyson, Buckley! And he'll fucking go in there with his head movement and fucking try to bop Kamaru Usman. You know, and he's a shorter fighter in an Usman fight. I don't know a lot of fighters that are shorter than Usman that Usman's fought. I might be wrong on that. I might be off. But I feel like Usman almost always fights like a tall, rangier opponent. Buckley's a style he really hasn't fought a lot of. A powerful, stocky striker who's like a ball of muscle. Tell me the last guy he's fought like that. You know? Who, Burns, maybe? You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't fought a lot of dudes like that. You know, Leon Edwards, lengthy, scrawny dude who's got good wrestling defense, right? Or takedown defense. You know, but Joaquin Buckley, I think, is the real deal. I do think he smokes Kamaru Usman. This might be another masterclass performance where he just whoops the old guard, you know? And then people are going to be like, wow, he's only beat Covington in a 38-year-old Usman. We don't need to give him the title shot. But he is going to beat Usman. And he did beat the living shit out of Colby Covington. If Colby had a little bit more success, where it's like, okay, that round's kind of arguable, I thought Buckley was winning the whole fight. I don't think there was a single moment where I was like, oh, but Colby, he switched on! And the crazy part is that Colby looked like a better Colby than the one that fought Leon. You know, it looked like he was trying to get the striking going. It looked like he was trying to get the wrestling going. And Buckley just shut it all down. You know? So I think Kamaru Usman's going to find a rough time trying to find a takedown on a guy like Buckley. I think Buckley, bro, we're going to see some crazy wrestling defense where either Buckley's going to get these crazy underhooks and just fucking shuck off Usman, or we're going to see Buckley just fucking manhandle Usman, pick him up, dunk him type shit, you know? And even if that doesn't happen, I think on the feet, Usman is a good pressure fighter. Buckley is really good at, like, I think Usman's going to be on the back foot in this fight, and that's very rare for Usman to be purely on the back foot. Like, this is going to look like Khamzat Chimaev, but more of a striking. This is going to look more like Khamzat versus Burns, where Joaquin's Khamzat and Kamaru's Burns, but it's going to be 5 rounds, and Joaquin Buckley's not going to get dropped. So, but, you know, he has had chin issues in the past, but that was at middleweight against Kevin Holland, which is a big, rangy dude. But I feel like this is Buckley's era, you know? This is the time to shine, you know? And almost every fight is like that for Buckley, and I think that's a good trend, you know? Because I like it when a fighter is like, okay, this guy's the next toughest opponent. Okay, this guy's the next toughest opponent. I don't like it when they have a break with, like, an easy opponent, and then they're back to doing a tough opponent, because it's kind of like what happened with O'Malley. He beats a guy like Cheeto, who barely belongs in the top 10, and then he fights a guy like Merab, the best bantamweight of all time. That's kind of like that effect. Buckley's on, like, a staircase. After this, I think he's undeniable. You give him a title shot. I get it. It's Usman off a 3-fight losing streak. I get it. It's Colby off a 3-fight losing streak. If he doesn't get the title shot, he better get #1 contender. I'm talking Shavkat right afterwards. So I think Buckley wins this. I think he gets a KO. I think he whoops Usman. Usman will have moments of success, and there might be like two or three swing rounds. But I see a 4th or 5th finish for Joaquin Buckley via KO. You know? Buckley's wrestling, I think, is good enough to, like, huck off an old Usman, and his striking is good enough to finish an old Usman. So that's kind of what I'm going with. I'm going with Joaquin Buckley. I might put a 10er on him by KO. We'll see how the odds go. I don't even think they're odds. Oh, there actually are odds for the fight. Wow, 3-1 favorite? I kind of agree with that. I kind of get why. Yeah, a lot of people are picking Buckley by KO. Buckley's good. I trust in Buckley. We're going with Buckley. All right, so that has been my picks and predictions for this UFC fight card. I'll probably be uploading this on a Monday so I can watch everybody else's predictions in the MMA space. I stream now as well, so catch me 8 p.m. EST throughout the week. You know, I don't really have a schedule yet. I'll set that up. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I want to thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good day.